Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video we are looking at silver. It is time for another update, and it seems we have extended to lower prices since the previous video as per our primary interpretation, and we need to reconsider some of these implications. It does provide some new data for us, some new levels to watch, but before we do that, let's go through the larger time frame to provide the context of what we are overall tracking on this chart. So we are looking at a large diagonal structure. Must it be this count exactly? Of course not, other interpretations are possible, but this is our primary scenario where we are looking for one more high before assuming a quite substantial top to form, right? We have this as an A, B, C pattern within a larger wave tree, and we are looking to build an ending diagonal within the wave C itself. So far, we would be within the wave 4, where we would prefer to extend in one more low in this structure to have a more clearly complete count. I am not ruling out the possibility that a bottom would be in place, but I would need evidence for that to be a more reliable pattern to track. And if you want to be a part of this journey as we track these further developments, I would encourage you to subscribe. Now, in this structure, as I was saying, we would like to see one additional low. We have been tracking this idea of an ending diagonal within this internal wave C. We would expect it to reach somewhere into the region of the last level of support. Doesn't need to touch it perfectly. This is an overall region we expect a reversal from, and ultimately, as long as we do not get a sustained break below the 61.8% retracement, we can still track continuation to higher prices within the wave 5. And at this point, as I was saying, we have an ending diagonal within this wave C. We have a wave 1, 2, and 3 in place, where currently we might even have a wave 4 top already in. This wave 4 could theoretically see a reset, but at this point it is quite unnecessary. And in the previous videos, we have been tracking this structure as something along the lines of a larger ABC pattern, right? We had a 3-wave move to the upside in a wave A, we had here our wave B correction, and now we have the next wave to the upside, in which we would have liked to see an additional high. It was looking quite incomplete. It would have looked better with one additional extension, but since we failed to hold internal levels of support for a wave 4, we have been looking still for a possible attempt to succeed in forming this wave 5, but then after a small correction in this area, we extended once again below this last level of support, making this pattern rather unlikely, and this actually leads me to consider that there is a good chance we will see even further extensions to lower prices. I no longer really trust this movement to the upside, and yeah, I'm looking for this to potentially be an ABC pattern complete. I am looking for the larger correction, and if I want to track support in direct continuation to higher prices, it would probably be under the idea of a larger leading diagonal in something like a 1, 2, and this would be within a wave 3. As an A, B, C structure we could theoretically be tracking, but I really find this a weak scenario, a weak structure, so bear that in mind when looking to form a reversal from this region. And the last level of support we can be tracking for this interpretation would allow a retracement as low as the $68.6 level, where so far we can notice we have pushed twice into the 61.8% retracement, from which point we have generated a decent move to the upside in terms of relative strength, but in terms of the actual structure, we get disappointed, because in this move to the downside, not only have we formed an initial 5-wave pattern. Yeah, we can track this in a couple of ways, even as a leading diagonal. We have this white interpretation, but also, since this latest low, we only have a 3-wave move to the upside. So, this means we need to account for the possibility of a larger 1-2 setup in this structure that could lead us to look for a larger wave 3 to the downside, yeah, continuation directly to lower prices. Now, what does this mean? Well, it means I would be looking for resistance at the levels between $72 up to $74.8. Unless we manage to get a sustained break above the 78.6% retracement, there is still strong pressure that we extend directly lower in this overall structure. And since we have, at this point, a 3-wave complete, we really do not need to form any further extensions. We have pushed into the 61.8% retracement. We got rejected, we had another attempt, we got rejected, and then another attempt, we got rejected once again. At this point, we are still holding a higher low in this area, but it doesn't seem too promising in succeeding to extend directly to higher prices. And I would be prepared for this movement to the downside to extend in a pretty direct fashion. Yeah, again, I do not need this extension. If it happens, it's not a problem, but unless we break the $74.8 level, we still have strong pressure to extend directly lower, possibly within a wave 3. Doesn't need to be. It could also work out as a larger ABC pattern, because if you remember, as we mentioned earlier in the video, this overall wave Z to the downside is being tracked as an ending diagonal, meaning that this structure is expected to build an ABC pattern, right? It could very well extend in a larger wave A, that's an ABC pattern itself. We get then a wave B and a wave C to complete this overall correction, completing our count and providing yet another opportunity from a larger time frame perspective to look for some positions. Now, you may be thinking that this internal wave 5 that we have for the wave 1 here is quite weak, doesn't even look sufficient to be a wave 5 itself. And I would agree, it is not necessary to be counted as a wave 5. We could be considering this to even be part of a correction itself. But then I would track this as an A, B, C movement to the downside, and then we could track something like a WXY pattern in an expanded flat correction. Doesn't really suggest in the end that we would see a breakout just because we had a weak extension to lower prices in this area. It rather is suggesting that yes, this is either a corrective pattern that we see in this movement to the upside, or that we have bottomed within a 5-wave move to the downside. In either case, we get quite strong suggestions that this structure is likely to extend to lower prices. Now, for a recap, we would still be looking to extend to higher prices against the $68.6 level that can still allow a larger, more reliable pattern to emerge from the current prices. But as it stands currently, with the developments we have so far in this movement to the upside, I would consider this to be no more than a relief rally. And if we fail to hold this level of support, we can still track a not so reliable pattern in something like a larger wave A, then we get a wave B, and a wave C could theoretically take us even higher, potentially still into this area of resistance, and we would get a reset. But for me, the most likely outcome at this point is to extend directly in this wave 5. And once again, this doesn't need to happen within a 5-wave move within the wave A. It could work out just as well with an internal A, B, C structure within the wave A itself, and then we get a larger A, B, C structure, thus completing our correction. Now, from a larger time frame perspective, we are still looking quite good. We are still holding the area of support. This is just a healthy correction, still part of this larger wave C, and we know that if we get a sustained break below the $57.6 level, it is rather a warning that this structure has failed, and we would need to be quite prepared for a much larger correction. And even if ultimately we get a pretty strong movement from below this area of support, I would be quite inclined to believe that a larger correction would still be occurring. And for now, these are the levels, this is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and if you enjoy our content and want to support us directly, check out our channel membership. And as a thank you for any of these actions, I would like to invite you to sign up to our channel newsletter, where you get access to our monthly top picks where we identify for you high quality structures. Other than that, let me know what else you would like me to cover, and I'll do my best to do that in the days and weeks ahead. And until then, I wish you a nice day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.